I felt his footsteps in the dark. He thought I was asleep. But when his hands touched my skin, I didn't stop him. I didn't want to. That night, I let everything happen, and I never looked back. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. And one request, please always keep smile on your face. I never expected to feel that way again, not after my last relationship nearly broke me in every way possible. I had convinced myself that romance was a closed chapter, that the butterflies would never return, and that desire was something reserved for the past. That was until Ryder moved in. It started innocently enough. My cousin Olivia had asked me to let her friend crash in my guest room for a couple of weeks while his apartment finished renovations. I had hesitated, naturally. I valued my quiet, my space. But Olivia was persuasive and insisted Ryder was respectful, mature, and barely home. I reluctantly said yes, unaware of how much those weeks would blur boundaries I thought were solid. The night he arrived, I opened the door expecting someone average, safe, non-threatening. But Ryder was anything but. He stood there, 6'2", messy dark blonde hair, deep-set eyes the color of thunderclouds, and a voice so smooth it nearly melted the air. I tried to stay composed, even when his fingers brushed mine as I handed him the spare keys. "Thanks again for letting me stay here, Zoe." "I'll stay out of your way," he said, his smile slow and full of charm. I just nodded and stepped aside, pretending that I wasn't already watching how he moved like he owned every space he walked into. For the next week, I did everything I could to keep things normal. We crossed paths at breakfast, exchanged a few casual words, and danced around each other at night. He was polite, clean, even funny when I dared to laugh. But it was the little things that got me, the way he leaned on the counter shirtless after a workout, sweat glistening on his neck, or how his voice dropped a little when he said my name. It wasn't overt flirting. He never crossed a line. But something simmered underneath, like we were circling something neither of us wanted to admit. One Saturday night, it rained hard. The wind rattled the windows, thunder rolled low, and the mood inside the house felt thick, electric. I wore one of my soft sleep shirts, long enough to be decent, short enough to feel a little wicked. Ryder was sprawled on the couch, watching a documentary, barefoot in gray joggers and nothing else. I had planned to retreat to my room, but I ended up sitting beside him. Too close. Our arms brushed once. Twice. Neither of us moved. He looked at me then, his eyes holding mine for a second too long. "You okay?" he asked, his voice softer now. I smiled, though something inside me twisted. "I'm good. Just tired." And I was. Emotionally, physically, and from fighting whatever was growing between us. I stood and stretched, aware of his eyes grazing my legs. I whispered a good night and walked to my room, leaving the door slightly ajar. Lying on my bed, I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed every glance, every touch, every restrained moment we'd shared. The rain kept falling. Time passed. And then I heard the faint creak of the hallway floor. Footsteps. Hesitant. Slow. I knew it was him before I even turned. I shifted under the covers, pretending I was asleep. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't trust myself to say the right thing. Maybe because I wanted to see what he would do if he thought I wasn't watching. My door opened. Just a little. Then more. My breath hitched. Ryder stood there. Quiet. Almost reverent. I kept still, my body warm with adrenaline. He stepped inside, closing the door gently behind him. I felt the air change. I heard the soft rustle of his shirt as he took it off. I heard his breath when he got closer to the bed. He sat on the edge beside me. I was facing the wall, my back to him. My heart pounded. He leaned in, his hand brushing my hair back. His fingers trailed down my arm, so lightly I almost thought I imagined it. "You're so beautiful, Zoe," he murmured. His voice. That voice. It was filled with a longing that pierced through every part of me. "I don't know what we're doing," he said, "but I can't stop thinking about you. I know I shouldn't be in here." His hand moved to my waist. Gentle. Testing. Waiting. I didn't stop him. I didn't move. He must have thought I was asleep. But my breath wasn't steady anymore, not really. I felt him lower himself next to me, his warmth so close, his presence overwhelming. His lips grazed my shoulder. Barely there. Then again. A little firmer. He whispered again. "If you wake up and push me away, I'll go. But if you want me to stay." My breath trembled. And I shifted, just slightly, letting the blanket fall lower. An invitation without words. He understood. He slid in beside me, one arm wrapping gently around my middle, pulling me against him. Every nerve lit up. My back against his chest. His mouth near my neck. The feel of his skin on mine. Slow. Burning. I felt his restraint, but I also felt everything he was holding back. And God, I wanted him to keep going. I turned in his arms, eyes meeting his for the first time that night. No more pretending. His mouth crashed into mine, hot and hungry, his hands gripping my waist like he had been waiting forever. I kissed him back, letting myself fall, letting every touch dissolve the wall I'd built. He explored me like I was something precious, something sacred. Nothing rushed. Every movement was slow, deliberate. Like he wanted to memorize me. And I gave myself to it completely. The night was full of whispers, gasps, and tangled sheets. We didn't sleep. We didn't stop. When morning came, the rain had passed. Light filtered through the window. Ryder was still beside me, his fingers tracing circles on my bare skin. I looked at him, heart pounding again, but for a different reason now. "I wasn't asleep," I said softly. He smiled, that devilish crooked grin. "I know," he whispered back. I laughed, burying my face in his chest. "I almost left," he added. "I was terrified I'd cross a line. But I couldn't. I needed to be close to you." "You crossed the line," I said, smirking. "But I'm glad you did." He kissed me again, this time slower. Sweeter. From that day forward, everything changed. He stayed longer than 2 weeks. He never moved into his new apartment. Our days became full of playful teasing, shared meals, and long, hot nights. We took walks, cooked dinner together, danced barefoot in the kitchen, and made love like the world outside didn't exist. It wasn't just the sex, though that was the kind of passion that made my bones melt. It was the comfort too. The way he saw me. The way he made me feel wanted again. Whole again. Months passed, but every time he kissed me, I still got goosebumps. One night, we sat on the porch wrapped in a blanket. The moon was high, and the cicadas hummed in the background. "Do you remember that night?" I asked. "The night I thought you were asleep," he said, grinning. I nodded. "I've never been more scared in my life," he admitted. "But I've also never been more certain." I leaned into him, heart full. "Sometimes," I whispered, "you have to let go and let the wrong timing feel right." And for us, it did. That night was the beginning of everything. And I'll never forget how I pretended to sleep, just so I could feel the fire I'd been afraid to light. Ryder lit it anyway. And I let him. Now, I wouldn't want it any other way.